Hello. Bear with me for a moment as I make you all seasick and try to adjust my camera. What are we doing, camera? Are we... Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good now. Hello. I'm Amanda Call. I'm going to be drawing another illustration here this week. So let me start. I've got just a blank piece of paper and I'm going to start with trying to figure out what this shape is going to look like. This is another one of those weird skulls I have never drawn before, so I'm trying to get a feel for the weird shape and proportion and weird little features on it. Not something I've ever done before. It's part of the same Skulls and Flowers series that I've been working on the last, month and a half. Trying to figure out where all these different shapes are on this skull. It's different. This is really interesting. This bone right here, I guess it's like a cheekbone, but it almost looks like a ribbon the way it folds over here. It's very strange. Very cool. I like it. I think it's supposed to come up a little bit higher, though. I need a bigger eraser. Oh, no. And again, we have this issue. My eraser has blue gunk on it, and I don't want blue gunk on it, so I'm gonna kind of just rub it on the side of my drawing board here until some of the blue gunk comes off, and I don't have to worry about blue gunk getting on my drawing here. So I do not want that. I also don't like this eraser that much. I like the Mars plastic one, but that one is always like, I use it all the time with my comic pages, so it's like hopelessly encased in blue gunk. That's more like it. It needed to just come up a little bit further. And then I think this whole thing is just a little bit too low because that's more like it. Trying to figure out these skulls I've never tried to do before. Hello, how are you doing? Sorry, sometimes it takes me a second to notice people are talking to me when I'm trying to figure out where these bones are supposed to go. I'm struggling to figure out how a mouse skull is constructed. That's what's up here. This is all gonna have to come out a little more. It's all just a little bit longer than I thought. Yeah, so I have a photo reference up on my other monitor. So I've got my stream happening on one monitor here where I'm making sure that I'm staying in frame and keeping an eye on in the chat. And on my other monitor, I have a photograph of a mouse skull pulled up so that I more or less know what I'm doing. But I don't have like a printed version to show you here because it's on my other monitor where my camera can't really see it. But yes, definitely. Even as much as I've drawn human skulls, I like to still have a reference just to, you know, unless I'm drawing like a really tiny one somewhere, just to throw in the background. But if I'm like, if that's what the drawing is, I like to still have one to just make sure I'm not forgetting anything important. This weird like ribbony loop of bone here is like really, really making things challenging for me. And it's just such a cool thing. But it's really weird to wrap my head around how it all fits together. Okay. It's a lot of me messing around trying to get these shapes right. I'll get there eventually. Yeah. Yeah, trying to simplify it down to something that's gonna be easy to move around and still look right. Yeah, that sounds like a challenge. We've got a another weird form here. Okay, I think that's at least close enough. I feel I can move on and come back and refine it more later. What? Stop making weird smudgies. Don't cause more problems than you fix, eraser. All right. The back side of this. And then we've got this kind of weird squared off portion back here. I was kind of surprised looking at the reference images how very square little mousy heads look. I was not really expecting that. We've got where the mandible hooks into the upper jaw. Got some of this weird spiderwebby stuff in here. Like you get more of the weird spiderwebby stuff in there. All right, so this jaw is too short. needs to be much taller than it is. That's okay. The curve on the bottom doesn't line up right anyway since I redrew that top part. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to figure it out. All right, that's more like it. We're getting in the right direction now. That all needs to be refined a little bit, but I got the basic thing a little better. This needs to be a little wider now, I think. I don't think it's quite hefty enough now. That needs to come back a little, I think. That looks more like it. That's a better shape. Thank you. It's a nice skull. It's also kind of weird working on this one since it's a mouse skull, so I'm actually drawing it at like it should be like this big. So I'm drawing it at like 5 times its actual size. It's just kind of funny. All right, we're gonna try to start refining. I'm gonna even get my other eraser. Hopefully, maybe. Oh no. Oh no. I went digging around. It's got blue gunk on it too. We're gonna have to fix that. I went digging around in my pencil box to get this. And I came up with an X-Acto cap. Just the cap. Means I have an uncapped X-Acto floating around in that pencil box now. That's not a good situation to be in. Just start refining some of these shapes back here. Oh, there's some sort of hole back here that I did not. Oh, I see. I did the top. I didn't do the bottom part. There's like another little loop of bone down here. So this needs to come down a little more. It's like a whole other little loop I've totally forgot about back there. Oh, okay. Let's not do that. And this goes up in here. And this comes down. And then there's another little divot. We've got this kind of double curve going here. And there's seriously like a corner right there. It's so weird. There's this like ridge that runs along the whole top here, just next to. So I'm thinking about it. Mice do have kind of flat heads, realistically. Let's see. We need to get this curve. Oh, it's got like a twist here almost, where the plane, like, it'll make more sense once I start coloring it, but this is there's definitely a change in plane right here. It almost looks like the bone twists. All right. So let's see. This kind of comes up like this. It does. It seriously looks like a ribbon. It's really cool. No, it's not as. It needs to look a little bit more firm. I've got it kind of looking like Play-Doh-y. That'll hopefully make more sense once I start coloring it. Once we start adding some shadows. Right now, it just doesn't make any sense to look at. Have to approach that very differently if this were just a line drawing to get it to read. Because sometimes you have to draw things like not 100% correct to get the information across because of the way you are drawing it. Like you kind of have to cheat sometimes to make things more like reality than they actually look. As counterintuitive as that might seem. These tiny little mousy teeths. Tiny little mousy teeths. Alright, we've got that upper hook of the jaw. We've got our weird spiderwebby bits back in here. Weird spiderwebby bits. Let's see, and this is gonna have a little bit more depth to it, but I don't really need to outline it. That's gonna be more done with the shading. Must be 150% correct. No, sometimes. I mean, I know Jamie's just messing with me, but but yeah, you gotta kind of like push and pull what reality actually presents itself as to get the idea across of what it actually is. Because like these lines are definitely there, but by adding them on here in just pencil, if this were just pencil, that just looks so much more confusing. It does not like really explain the form to you in a way that makes any sense. It looks like some sort of weird Escher nonsense right now. It makes sense when I'm looking at the photograph, but it doesn't make sense the way that I have it translated here. So I'd have to do something different. The interpretation, an important part of how you art. All right, clean some of that up. Their teeth, their back teeth look like little crowns. Seriously, what they're shaped like. So I recently bought this pair of earrings off this lady that I've bought jewelry from before on Etsy, called Cassandra Von Creep. Obviously, that's not her real name. That's her shop name, but she does all like goth and punk jewelry. And I bought a pair of earrings that are little muskrat mandibles. They're actual muskrat mandibles. So they've got this weird big jaw hinge, and like the little sharp teeth. And oh my god, they're so cool. But I'm always afraid to wear them now because like I love them so much. But because they're real bone, they're fairly fragile. They're very small and they don't hardly weigh anything. But yeah, I'm like afraid that I'm gonna break them and then I'll be heartbroken. But they're so cool. In case that's at all a surprise to you that I would wear actual skeleton pieces and think it's the coolest thing ever. Okay, this shape is all wrong. It's all wrong. Sharp, pointy teeth. As I throw my eraser pencil across the desk. All right. Almost there on this skull now. Just finishing up the last little, refining the last little bits on this upper jaw here. More spiderwebby bits. Actually comes up a little bit. Interesting. All right, it's a mouse skull. Yay. But now I need to add the other element. Let's see. Oh, that freaking skull took me like half an hour. Good grief. Okay. So add the other element here. We're going to do some right here. I think I'm going to move that one. I don't want that there. Changed my mind. You're going to go somewhere else. Actually, that's not. It needs to go down here. Okay. Okay. There's our flowers. It is mouse ear chickweed. Drawing board, stay where you belong. So let's see, it's 5 petals. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll lose a little bit of what I drew there, but that's okay. And they've got this cute little like secondary star in the middle. That's very sweet. It's going to be kind of a pain to draw, but it's very cute. So let's see. We've got this little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they alternate with like the breaks between the petals. That's what they line up with. Is not the petals, but the lines between the petals. And the petals, it's actually one of the more, it looks really simple, but it's actually one of the more complicated flowers I've had to draw for this, I think. As far as just its structure, is actually has a lot more going on than what it first appears for being such a simple looking flower. And they've got this little I'm going to move that up here. So the end of the petals are actually split into these 2 round little sections. Which is where they get their names. Their name. They look like little mousy ears. They've also got some of these dealies. I can't tell exactly how many. I think it's probably also 5, but I'm not going to sweat it too much. These flowers are complicated enough. Aw, so cute. So cute. Scoop that a little bit. We have some green poking out there because these are white flowers. They're white flowers with like a yellowish, greenish center. So I'm a little bit concerned about there being like no color in this one. This is just going to be a little bud. This, we've got one down here that's kind of like, they've got a little bit of a bell shape to them. Make it pink. Everything shall be pink. Just gonna make it all pink. What color is it actually? I don't care. It's pink now. All right. Trying to get that actual like curved shape. Yeah, I'll do that. Bring out more of the focus more on the pinkish tones on the skull. I mean, the skulls when I do them, they're not like just pure white. They still have to look mostly white though, from the way I've been doing them. So, but they're not just like white with gray shadows because that would be boring and not very accurate. So they usually have a yellowish cast to them. All right, let's see. So it's got its little that and some of this. They're almost like little heart-shaped petals. They're so sweet. It's a very cute little flower. Oh, come on. Be cooperative, will you? All right, where's this one? Where's this one that I was looking at in the reference? So my reference for the flowers, they're kind of like I'm using individual flowers that I'm seeing in the reference to get the angles and make sure I get all the details right, but they're not arranged in this way. So I like picked which ones I wanted where and put them like, oh, I want this one here and that one here and that one there. That's not where they are on my reference. And I'm looking back and trying to find this flower. Where's this flower? What did I do with it? Where is it on my reference? It's not next to this flower. It's somewhere else entirely. But that's an important note of when you're using reference to, make sure that your stuff looks accurate. You don't want to just be straight up copying it. You want to use it to make sure that you have the information that you need, but you don't want to just be like trying to exactly reproduce it. You need to be molding it to your needs and reinterpreting it in ways that work for what you're doing. I'm going to have a leaf in here so there's more green back in here instead of just void. Really quite challenging myself on these particular flowers, I gotta say. But yeah, reference should be a jumping off point. It should inform you, but not limit you. Shouldn't let your reference make you be like, oh, I can't possibly move this flower over here. That's not where it is in the reference image. Man, it's your drawing. Do what you want. Do what you want. Put it where you want. All right, one last flower over in the corner here. Exactly, the happy little flower next to the happy little skull, and now they have a friend. Just so. Precisely. This is, apparently can't even hold my pencil. Apparently on the struggle track this evening. Let's see. See, they look like cute little mousy ears. Okay. The rest of it would be hidden by the skull. I'm going to erase this outline here. Put my little bunches of things you can see there. All right. I think at this point the actual drawing part is done. I've got my mouse skull. I've got my mouse ears chickweed flower. So now that took me way longer than literally any of these have so far. Goodness. All right. So we only have like a little less than 15 minutes left, but I'm going to start laying down colors with my Derwent Inktense water-soluble ink pencils. I'm actually going to start with just the flowers just because I don't have a lot of time and I don't want to start the skull and then not be done and then not be sure where I left off for next week. So I'm just going to do the flowers because that way I'll be pretty certain of where I left off. Let's see. They've got a bright yellowy green in the center. So I want that. Stop moving. Fine, stay there. Where is mustard? I want mustard. And I want sun yellow. And they've got a little bit of like a really pretty light gray. Ooh, am I going to use? Do I use? Yeah, I'm going to use sepia ink. I think that'll work. I think that's a good combo to start off with here. All right. This is dull as all get out. I'm going to sharpen it off camera because that's where my trash can is. All right. Move these guys out of the way. And I'm going to start coloring these in just a little bit. Now the I don't know if it's really like that there's pigment on the blossoms themselves or if it's just pollen that like makes the center of this kind of dirty looking. I want to say it's probably just pollen like staining it. That's kind of cool. All right, where did you go? Little bud. Where are you? I lost it. There it is. Okay, so a little bit of that around the edge. Do a little yellow in the middle. Yellow on the tips of these little doodads. Stamen? Question mark? I still don't actually know. Don't know. It's rather green, so we're going to add some green down in there. And so I have to go with a pretty light touch on these because they show up a lot darker than you think once you actually hit them with water. So we don't want to go too overboard at this point. Just want to get some pigment put down. I'm going to sharpen this a little bit so I can get some of those tinier details. So these, you start as a dry, like medium, using them kind of like colored pencils, but then I will activate them with water and they will start to look more like almost like a watercolor, but they're really like, they're actually like a colored ink, like a drawing ink. They're very cool. They're my most favoritist color medium. We'll eventually make a video just about how to use these because I think they're so cool. Add some of these little like details to these. And the tips of the petals kind of curve a little bit. And this little guy over here. I'm just trying to keep a very, very light touch. I don't want to overdo it. So as I'm working on these flowers, We're getting into the last 10 minutes of the stream, so I'm going to tell you all the things. I'm Amanda Call. You've been watching me work on an original illustration. I stream on this YouTube channel every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. I do other videos as well. So I do different videos about creating art and things about art and that sort of thing. Those I upload every other week on Sundays. So if any of that sounds cool to you, then you should definitely like this video and subscribe to my channel. That way you know when I upload a video and when I go live. You know, tell people about it. Be like, hey, check this out. It helps me to reach more people, and I appreciate it. Very frequently on these art streams, you see me working on my webcomic, Age of Night. I haven't been doing that for a little while just because I'm toward the end of a chapter and I don't want to I'm further ahead than what's posted online, so I don't want to spoil what's coming because the end of the chapter tends to have a lot of that's what's happening type things, and I don't want to post spoilers to my own work. That seems very counterproductive. I'm not going to do that. But you should check out my webcomic. It's Age of Night, and that's at ageofnight.com. That's AGEOFNIGHT.com. I totally messed up doing that on the Chaotic Good cast last night. I was on a web show, and I went to spell my website's name, and I totally messed it up. I do it just fine every flippin' week on here, but somehow when I was on somebody else's show, I managed to do it wrong. Good job, Amanda. But yeah, check it out. Weekly fantasy webcomic, all available for free. However, if you want to help support me, you can also support me on patreon.com. You get to see the comic pages a week early, and sometimes you get videos early if that's a thing that you like. And yeah, free comics, all sorts of fun stuff. What do I want to add to these? I want the darker green. Not that one. Let's see. Yeah. There's another. That's the green I was looking for. But yeah, that's the places where you can find me and do the things. Do the things. You can also find me on Twitter at Age of Night. You can find me on Instagram at Amanda Call Art. I was just on the Chaotic Good cast this past week, and that should be available on all the podcasting places. I think Thursday. We did a live recording of it that streamed to YouTube, but there was also a recording that will come out in podcast form later. In case that's a thing you might be interested in. Yeah, I think that's all the things right now. Not much else going on right at the moment. We're still in that. Not a whole lot going on. Things are starting to think about going on. Some conventions that I was supposed to go to last year have recently announced that they will be happening in the fall. We'll see how everything else is going, whether that means, oh, there goes my mouse. Cool. We'll see how everything else is going in the fall, whether that means I will also be going to them or not. I'd like to think everything is going to be less of a mess by then. All right, I think that's as far as we're going to go tonight. I've got everything drawn. I've got colors laid down on my flowers. And so then next time we can continue with putting colors on the skull and getting those colors activated. And a little further along here. Oh, there was another comment. I can't see it because my light's in the way. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to stay productive with all of the things. And you know what? That's totally okay. It's important to understand that we're all just kind of surviving right now. So anything you accomplish is a good thing. So on that note, thank you everybody, and I will see you all next time. Bye.